Hello. Oh, we don't need to do that, do we? Because
It's not a weekly episode.
it's a four-man week plus Marco minus Marco and Dante.
Oh,
We'll just keep running with it. So, emergency NBA trade deadline podcast. I'm joined by Alessio and Lucas Petridis. As we recorded a podcast not too long ago, but actually too long ago because we missed out on all the big trades. So, if you want to hear about the Kyrie Irving trade or the Kessler Edwards trade, listen to our 2023 trade deadline preview. Not recap, preview, whatever. But everything else has happened since then. Yeah, boys, how are you?
I'd like to apologise for all listeners of the last episode because I came in really hot saying there's no way the Nets would trade Kevin Durant. I was like, they traded for some good role players. They got a first round pick. They can move. You know, like this team could genuinely win it. Like they've got a small chance, but they could win a chip if Durant was healthy. All the pieces around it look really good. And then I think 12 hours later he was moved off to, or 24 hours later he was moved off to Phoenix. So just an apology.
Apology accepted on behalf of everyone else. I'm still confused as to why they made the deal. Like, I feel like KD in that roster was, like, pretty good. KD won.
The deal, yeah, exactly. The deal had to be Kevin Durant saying, "Get me out."
Yeah, but, yeah, just from like a... what's the word? Just purely logical. If I was the Nets, I'd be like, nah, man, stay. Like, we can just run with these guys for like a year or so.
Yeah.
Rest of the season, next season as well.
Also, like, you know that everyone on that roster is going to play.
Yeah.
And as long as Durant's healthy, like, that team's going to win games. You watch this Nets roster now, as it's currently constructed. They give me an OKC vibe in the sense where it's like, they should be losing, but they're just going to win games just because.
They've got good players.
They've got good players.
Chris Paul, Danilo Gallinari, OKC.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they're going to win. Jacque Vaughn's good. The players don't care about losing. Like, they're just going to win games literally just because.
Yeah. Like, they've just got Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson at a steady point guard. And, like, Nick Claxton's a defensive player of the year candidate and Cam Thomas. But before we start, because it's been 2 minutes and we have started, we're going to finish up the gift giving, the Chris Kringle that we did as a podcast.
Let's lead into this a little bit more. You had Gary from Hoops and Cards on a couple of and what's happened so far? Who did you receive? So, who did you receive?
I received Costa Koufos from Sean.
Yeah.
Signed, yes, by the man himself, the man, the myth, the legend.
I received 2 Nando De Colo cards, which was the first conversation Dante and I ever had about basketball.
Yeah.
Right after the Nando De Colo trade.
Dante received?
He received Elia Kobo from Marco Holden Jeffrey.
It's a great one.
And
his second Elia Kobo card.
Yeah.
And Marco Holden Jeffrey received an Annalie Maley card.
From you.
From me.
Also very good.
And now finally...
4 months later. 3 months later.
A month and a half after Christmas. Though.
Nah, but we were setting it up for like early December.
But Chris Kringle happens at Christmas or less.
Fair enough.
This is the final transaction. Alessio giving a card to Lucas Petridis.
Here is your basketball.
The deadline is over. And I get... Oh my god! Wow! It's like you couldn't get better or worse.
Now, for the non-Patreon viewers, it's a
Howl NATO.
Howl NATO
Wizards.
card. Wizards.
Yeah. Thanks, bro.
I did have to workshop it a little bit, and I went through my friend Sean Carroll at the D2 NBA podcast. You, Sean. Yeah. We had a couple of Wizards players that we literally couldn't find a card for, and I believe...
Can I guess some?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
I think I spoiled this, but Jan Maselli?
Yeah.
Fucking oath.
And in the same train, EAN.
EAN?
Jan Mahimi.
Jan Mahimi.
We looked for a Jan
Couldn't find a
Mahimi.
card.
Yeah.
Couldn't find a Vesely card. Couldn't find... There was another player as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just settled on Harold. And that's it. Anyway, with the momentum gone from...
So the NBA trade deadline, we've got a bunch of transactions in front of us. This actually goes by just teams in and out. So instead of just doing the Kevin Durant trade, let's just talk about the Phoenix Suns in general. They brought in Kevin Durant, Darius Bazley, and TJ Warren, and they lost Mikal Bridges, Jake Crowder, Cam Johnson, Dario Saric, and 5 future first round picks, including that swap. I think the picks like this year, 2 years, and then a swap in the very last one. So this team is going to be one of the best offenses in the whole entire league. In the playoffs, I don't think this is going to be much of a problem, but they just don't have much forward depth because TJ Warren hasn't been that good. He's been fine for a guy who hasn't played basketball in 2 years. Dario Saric was actually like a good backup 5. and they made that move to get Darius Bazley, who fits better positionally. But I think we can all nod in agreement that he's not very good at basketball.
Well, how do you like? I appreciate that you need depth at someone who's taller than 6'7", but he can't play on the playoff floor.
Well, that's
Good
yeah,
man.
yeah. I think so. That I'm being nice there and saying that's why they made the move, but they also I think they also made this move as well just to save a little bit of money because Dario Saric has been paid like $8 million, $9 million this season,
And
Bazley's still in his
The
rookie
last
deal.
year
So
before
yeah,
the deal,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And it was
and
like
he was a mid first
And a
round.
mid player.
and a mid player, and that's usually what you get from a mid.
Mid would be a stretch.
Well, he was the first one to go to the New Balance Academy, so there's got to be something good coming out of that. But do you guys think that the Phoenix Suns are total favourites now after this move?
Not favourites.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know who the favorite is right now.
Boston.
But I don't know. I actually don't know.
But do you like their chances more after this deal?
Oh yeah.
If there was a consensus favourite, I would very strongly argue it'd be Boston.
Yeah,
Consensus
yeah, yeah.
around the NBA.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're so much better, man. Like, I'm actually a bit upset that we talked about the depth thing. Because one of the things I was gonna say is like, yeah, okay, but to be fair, in the KD deal, they turned Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson
Yeah.
and Jay Crowder, who wasn't in the
Yeah,
rotation,
yeah.
into KD and TJ Warren, and the picks, whatever.
Mm.
But that's 2 players for 2 players, and one of those guys coming in is KD. So
Yeah.
it's like, I don't think you really have to worry about throw depth into the win when you're getting KD.
Absolutely.
And they have all those players for like a few more years as well. So you did the hard part. Like the depth will come. Like that's such a non-issue when you're bringing in KD.
Yeah, and the buyout market is probably going to be good.
The buyout market's at smalls, though.
11 minutes before we started this podcast, the Denver Nuggets signed Reggie Jackson. But yeah, there's no Marvin Williams who would be a great fit here. There's no one like that.
The tallest guy in the buyout market is Terrence Ross, and he's not tall enough.
Yeah, but I think someone will pop up. Like, I don't ask me who, but there's got to be a large player. But yeah, just putting aside the depth concerns, because I think they might be a little bit overblown just by me beforehand as well. Just on offense, you've got it's going to be very similar to Golden State. You've just got a table setter in Chris Paul, who we'll see if he's washed or if he's waiting until the playoffs. But just Devin Booker and Kevin Durant are going to be on the court at the exact same time, and just having those dudes on the court running, like Kevin Durant loves setting screens for other shooters. Having that happen, it doesn't matter if Chris Paul's bad. He's going to get such wide open shots that just by having those other 2 dudes just distract 5 defensive players.
And he's a really good open shooter.
And Chris Paul is just going to be like, okay, cool, all this distraction is going on over there. I'm still a great passer no matter how old he is. And he's going to be able to get it to DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah.
And DeAndre Ayton might have to do a little bit more on defense than he has done this season, because contract stuff has sort of made him have a pretty mid-season this year in terms of defensive impact. But I will say probably their biggest competitor in the West right now is the Denver Nuggets. And for some reason, Jokic is just allergic to playing good against DeAndre Ayton. So that actually helps him a little bit here, because for some reason Ayton does a terrific job against Jokic, and he's like the only guy in the league that does that, which is unfairly so good for the Suns. What are you thinking, Aless, when you think about the KD trade?
I don't think I can get past the depth thing. They have 3. What was the stat? The stat was like they have 3 of the top 5 volume mid-range shooters in the NBA. Like it's like DeRozan 1, then it's like Durant, Chris Paul, then someone else, then Booker. It's like the stupidest stat ever. But it's also the best playoff stat ever.
Yeah.
It's such a good playoff stat. Like, give me, you want to give me an open mid-range jumper? Sick.
Yeah.
I've got 4 people that can hit it.
Yeah.
One of them's the best scorer of all time.
Yeah, literally. One of them's Carmelo Anthony if he was good at basketball. Yeah, I said it. I don't know, man. Because Campaign's a totally fine backup. Shamet's a totally fine backup. They're both tiny. If Chris Paul goes down, then no one's backing up Payne. If Booker or Durant go down, because
I think we have to assume health. Like, just assume health.
but you can't assume health for a team that's always injured.
Yeah.
How do you assume health for a team that's always injured? And if they're healthy, then their wing rotation is still 3 deep, and the third is Torrey Craig.
Yeah, but also Kevin Durant, like we've seen him play 48 minutes in a
Yeah.
playoff game. Like he's done it. He's played on worse playoff teams with the Brooklyn Nets with James Harden on one leg and Kyrie Irving out, and they were a toe over getting beating the Bucks. So just having Devin Booker next to him, and if he is healthy, then all of a sudden that's a better teammate than he had in that.
You also can't discount. Yeah, I think I'm discounting how like unbelievable Kevin Durant is.
Yeah.
He's so good at basketball. Then on top of that, which was another good point from the most recent Thinking Basketball podcast, the first round picks are fake.
Yeah.
They're not real. 'Cause if Durant,
I'm a little bit scared of it.
so if Durant is good for the
3 years.
longevity of his contract, Booker's good. Paul you can replace with literally anyone as long as you have Durant and Booker.
Yeah.
You're going to win enough games for that pick to be in the 20s. If that pick's always in the 20s, then Brooklyn's just got 3 20s, and then let's say that the very final pick is the one that like actually
Yeah.
Phoenix is shit.
Yeah.
You've given up you've given up the ability to draft some depth.
Yeah.
But like we said, you'll just sign the depth. And if the owner's legit about paying the luxury tax Warriors style, they will sign the depth.
Yeah. I hope so. I am a bit worried about the picks because it's like, Brooklyn gave up all those picks to get James Harden, saying we're going to be fine forever because Kevin Durant's here for 4 more years, and then 2 years later it's fucked off.
It's a big if.
But and he is 34, 35 years old, and it's like, okay, we are assuming he's going to be good when he's 37. Chris Paul's 37, 38, and it's like, oh, is it? How old is Chris Paul? 37?
Yeah,
37.
I don't know that.
The only person
What
that's
is this
aged,
freaking basketball?
but
podcast?
LeBron's the
Yeah.
only bloke that's aged better than Durant.
Well, we're sort of in a new era where it's like,
And Durant's been injured, but Durant's only not aging well because he keeps tearing his Achilles.
yeah,
Yeah.
There's not much he can do about it.
I think-
Outside of the
I think-
Achilles tear.
I'd argue that KD's aging better. Like if you give KD like 3
Yeah,
healthy
right.
years,
Yeah,
I reckon he would
yeah.
only look better and better.
Yeah.
okay. But just awesome job by the Brooklyn Nets to get all these picks, and to be able to get Jay Crowder, which they then flipped to the Milwaukee Bucks, to get Cam Johnson, and to just get all those picks. Like I don't think they had to negotiate that hard, because when they had the meeting with Kevin Durant, and then Kevin Durant said, I want to go to the Suns, and you assume that this trade was figured out at the start of the year, and they just said, we'll hold on until something else happens. Kyrie Irving happened. But for the Nets to be like, okay, he only wants to go to Phoenix. Now I think there was a quote that Joe Tsai said he wanted to do right by Kevin Durant. So he said, I want to do something for you, like, thanks for signing with us, etc. We're gonna send you to your preferred destination. To go to the preferred destination and just get their whole entire future, and get Mikal Bridges, who, like, if he was to be traded, Zach Lowe said they were offered 4 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges. So to get Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, who's not worth 4 picks, but he's definitely up there in 3 and D, and the rest of the future with no protections on those picks whatsoever, they had no negotiating power.
The Nets.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I don't think they could have said, well
the
we're getting
negotiating
Jaylen Brown.
power is we're not going to trade him to.
Yeah,
Which
but
is and Phoenix is like, this is the downside to new owner syndrome. I want him now. I want him right now. Give up whatever you and it's a win. It's a win for Phoenix. Let's not pretend it's not. But it's like, you better trade for the fucking guy.
yeah.
But it's like, because it was like Matt Ishibias and he wants to, make his mark, get the deal done by any means necessary. What do you reckon the phone call's like? It's like, Bridges, we gave up Bridges, Johnson, Crowder, 5 firsts, and then he's just like waiting. It's like, wait, that's it. Oh, I thought we were gonna like fucking mortgage a bit more than that. To go back to the depth thing, because I do like. What's like? So KD's going to play 40 minutes in the playoffs. Devin Booker's going to play 40 minutes in the playoffs. Let's say Monty Williams for some reason just becomes the dumbest coach in the NBA, and they're both off at the same time. And in those 8 minutes, the other team, it's like, what are the Suns going to do? The fuck is their opponent going to do in the other 40 minutes?
Yeah,
Like,
sure.
It's such a small part of the game that the Suns will need to like worry about.
But it's
like,
it's what the Warriors are doing now, where it's like Curry does this 12-point lead,
Yeah.
goes off for 3 minutes, and then comes back and it's tied again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're going to be doing that over and over.
but like KD's next 3 best teammates are probably better than Curry's next best teammate.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Who's the Warriors' second best player right now?
Draymond Green.
Draymond Green.
No question.
Yeah.
Better than CP3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Draymond Green's like second or third for Defensive Player of the Year right now.
Yeah. Okay. Do you reckon he's better than DeAndre Ayton?
Yeah.
DeAndre Ayton is having a down year.
Okay. Well, even still.
But yeah, then like Devin
we get
Booker.
what
it's
you're
like,
Yeah, you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
In the depth conversation, though, because I haven't mentioned it, and I think this is actually the biggest piece, they've got, like, the fact that they've got no one over 6'7", like, to back up Booker and Durant. They also have no one over 6'7" to back up Ayton.
Yeah.
And
It's like Jock Landale and then Damian Jones as your first guard off the bench. Sorry,
Jock
Damian Lee.
Jock Landale's actually kind of fine now that I think.
Yeah. 100.
But, God, you're just going to get stomped by the Bucks.
Yeah. But also Kevin Durant has turned it up in the playoffs on defense. But you would hope that, yeah. But if you want Aiden to like turn up and sort of be reinvigorated in his season, is bringing in a dude who's going to take half of his shots that guy? Probably not. But then also shut up DeAndre Ayton.
Shut up, play defense, win a championship.
Yeah, honestly.
Take your 35 million.
And I also think that Chris Paul and Monty Williams is smart enough of a combo, and even KD, to be like, alright, well, this guy obviously needs to get taken care of a little bit. But just fucking throw the ball in the goal when you get a chance and do everything else because you got to sacrifice to win a ring. I would know.
Alright, let's talk about the Lakers next. The Lakers gave up one of their first round picks, the 27 variant, not the 29.
With not the worst protection.
Yeah, 1 to 6 or 1 to 4?
1 to 4.
4.
And it's like, if they're shit, they keep it and it translates to a second.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And also, I don't trust the Lakers to draft outside of the top 4.
Yeah.
So like, it's,
and even in the top
Nah,
Well, yeah.
the Lakers have been drafting really well.
they have.
Yeah, well, when have the Lakers missed on a draft pick?
D'Angelo Russell.
Okay, but he turned out to be a one-time All-Star. Julius Randle's an All-Star. Brandon Ingram's an All-Star.
Yeah, but none for the Lakers.
But they still drafted him. They still drafted, and they got Kuzma, and they got
Kuzma's a good pick.
Randle at 7 was because he slipped.
Yeah.
Kuzma was a good pick. Russell because they didn't want to take.
But think about how many teams miss.
But-
What
yeah,
if they
for sure.
missed?
But
you know?
what-
Sean, I go for Sacramento.
Did they have pick 2?
Yeah.
Man, I'm a fucking Wizards fan. There are only 3 good picks with Wall, Beal, and Porter. And they were top 3 picks, all of them. And you can argue Porter probably wasn't the level of a top 3 pick, although he had a really good career in Washington.
It wasn't until he was hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, and then every pick outside of that's been like, huh? What?
Yeah. There's no Johnny Davis for the Lakers. They draft real players.
You reckon?
Yeah, like they're probably one of the best drafters in the whole entire league.
Damn.
Like them in Denver, they just outside of Emmanuel Mudiay. What have they missed?
It's all value, right?
Yeah, it's like even though we don't like D'Angelo Russell and we don't think his All-Star was that real, he still was a professional NBA player. Like they just don't draft Jan Vesely's. They don't just miss
Johnson.
players. Yeah.
Who's the guy that the Timberwolves drafted that played Derek Williams?
Yeah,
That could be a number 2 pick.
like
Xavier Henry.
part of drafting is just getting
He was
human
like-
beings in.
No, it wasn't Xavier. I think Xavier Henry was a top 10 pick.
Oh shit.
I remember John Wall went on. Sorry, but I remember John Wall went on Theo Pinson's podcast, and there was like the All-American game in high school or college or something, and Xavier Henry was like complaining he wasn't getting enough shots. John Wall was like, "Bro, I'm better than you." None of us are getting the amount of shots we deserve to get because I think it was like the USA teams going out and just fucking flogging every other country,
yeah.
and everyone was getting 8 shots, and Xavier Henry was like, "Give me the ball," and everyone else was like, "Are you serious, bro? Like, shut up and dribble."
Yeah, and he didn't end up. And he didn't go to a major college either
Yeah,
because he wanted the shots.
yeah.
The Lakers brought in the deadline Mo Bamba, Malik Beasley, Rui Hachimura, Davon Reed, D'Angelo Russell, and Jared Vanderbilt. And they gave up 1 first-round pick, as we talked about, Patrick Beverley, Thomas Bryant, Damian Jones, Kendrick Nunn, 1 Toscano Anderson, and 1 Russell Westbrook. It's probably the biggest one there.
And 3 second-round picks.
And 3 second-round picks. I won't say the word second for a while, alright? But all in all, while I don't think it makes them title contenders, I think it makes them a solid play-in team.
How did they get the value?
Yeah.
So, here's my thing. This is what, like I said last week, like NBA GMs are bad at their job. I seriously think that the Lakers and like to a certain extent the Knicks get value from deals just because they're the Lakers and the Knicks.
Yeah.
They have done nothing to warrant what they got.
Yeah.
All they have done is shot themselves in the foot for
Yeah.
3 years. Listen to LeBron James, who's one of the worst GMs in NBA history. All they've done is just like continually fire bullets into their own feet.
Yeah.
And then
They just
the other
get-
teams in the league are like, oh, well, we have to facilitate a trade for the Lakers. It's like, you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Take the 2 first. Danny Ainge, the swindler of all swindlers,
Yeah.
takes a protected first.
Yeah,
Not even unprotected.
Yeah.
Like, what are you facilitating it for?
If one of them had to be protected, then you get 2. But it's like, it's so stupid.
So,
Jared Vanderbilt might have gotten like, let's say, a Boston first this trade deadline. It's like, they're looking for a backup 5. Maybe Vando can play their 5.
Yeah.
Like, The Warriors, if I was the Warriors, I would have traded Vando for Big Jim. It's like you can take a flyer on Big Jim. Would you rather that or a top 4 protected Lakers pick? It's just I think D'Angelo Russell's a bad player, but a better fit because he can at least shoot off the catch, and he at least, none of the players he plays with are French, so he shouldn't hate them.
Like when LeBron's on the floor and he says, "Give me the ball," D'Angelo Russell's not declining that.
Yeah.
Whereas Russell Westbrook is.
Yeah, that situation grew quite toxic according to someone. Also, I hate the positive PR train just leaving the station for Russell Westbrook right now. You know it's fucking dire straits when they start talking about the tips he left at the bubble. It's like they are just digging through the files. They control effing on every news report. It's like Russell Westbrook happy, and it's like where like how can we make this dude happy again? And there was also a report that said that he might want to stay in Utah, and it's like maybe no one else wants to sign him.
As a side note, sorry, I've got this book called Bubble Ball. I'm willing to lend you if you'd like
That's
to
my
read it.
freaking guy right there, huh?
As you were saying, Les.
He wasn't.
He was. You're right on the Utah thing because he hates Utah and he's always been racially abused in Utah.
Yeah.
And the only reason he would stay there is to retain the 22 million he has owed.
Yeah.
Only reason.
But do you guys see the Lakers? They beat the Warriors today just before we recorded this podcast. Do you see the Lakers sneaking into the 6th seed? Is this good enough to make them that good? Like Vando and Beasley are just role players, but let's get the standings.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get the standings up for this one.
I'm just not sure LeBron James is interested in winning basketball games.
Oh, LeBron James also injured toe and might be playing with an injury for the rest of the season.
6th seed is 31-28.
Yeah.
Lakers are 26-31. So they're 4 games back on the 6th seed. The Pelicans are getting healthier, so they're going to win more. The Timberwolves should get better because Conley likes Gobert, or at least will be willing to throw the ball to him. The Warriors will get better when Curry gets back. The Thunder are going to win as many games as they already are just because. Utah will start slipping. Portland are going to try and keep winning. They're all above the Lakers. So the only team that we think are going to slip there on purpose is Utah, and the rest of them are actively going to try and win. I believe the Lakers had, and someone will have to correct me if they know the figure, but I'm pretty sure their start to the season was easier than a lot of the strength of schedule. Yeah. Pretty sure the start of their season was really light on the strength of schedule. They fucked it.
Yeah.
And now they're going to go into the hard part of their schedule with this kind of new roster.
Yeah.
But if LeBron doesn't want to win games, they're not going to. It doesn't matter what anyone does.
Yeah.
If LeBron doesn't play though, so
Yeah.
But they don't have Westbrook anymore, man.
Yeah.
Like we spent the first. Let me do the quick maths here. 51 games of the Lakers season trashing him to hell, and now they got rid of the problem that our beautiful basketball minds came together and said, hey, he's the problem. Now they got rid of him. We watched that game today. Man, that court was pretty open.
Yeah.
Like there was quite a lot of space, and like D'Angelo Russell was like not having the most remarkable game, but when you compare it to what it was quite like he was like taking a couple of dribbles into space and then like flinging one-handed passes into 2 open shoes and then like taking a couple of nice like pump fake fly-by mid-ranges, and I can't remember if any of them went in or not, but it at least looked like each player had space to create. And my fucking god, that Jared Vanderbilt kid, he's so good. Just like star in your role, like to the 100th percentile. I think the position they were in a week ago, or let's say whenever the Rui trade, 2 weeks ago,
so
3
much
weeks ago,
better.
But compared to now, it's just like it is so much better, and also less like, why no one owes you anything. It feels like someone's doing you a favor.
Always, but they're always getting the favor. Just because they're in Los Angeles.
One final point that I think you were away when we were watching the game, but I reckon Lukey might buy that Minneapolis Lakers Jared Vanderbilt jersey.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be a nice pickup?
I want to get the Jalen Noel Minnesota Timberwolves, like the one with the multicolours, the one that Ant doesn't like to wear. And I reckon that one as well.
We haven't mentioned it, and we didn't see him today at all. Mo Bamba on this team. What was that trade?
Wasn't that to just
replacing Thomas Bryant?
Wasn't it also to keep the money alive next year?
Because
Ben's contract's up this year.
But also He's not good at basketball.
That'd be so bad.
Yeah, but it is. But like you need to make the money work in a trade next year.
Yeah.
You still have the 2029 pick to trade.
Which is Also, if LeBron's on your team, you need to win right now.
Yeah.
Why are they holding any assets? Why are they still holding on to 29? Why didn't they just throw that out for DFS or something? Why are you holding on to anything?
I'm with you. Like I'm
Yeah,
with
absolutely. I think the perk of trading Pat Beverley is that if you bench him as you should because he's shit, he, I reckon, would instantly become a locker room cancer. Whereas if you just trade him and just give all those minutes to Russell, who also is a locker room cancer, for a long time, but not yet. If you just trade him, you don't have to deal with that. Hey, thanks for nothing. You suck. See you later.
Yeah.
Go sign for someone else, and then when you're annoying us, like when we face you, the next time we face you, we'll play better because we want to beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
On the Minnesota Timberwolves side of things, D'Angelo Russell, as you mentioned, locker room cancer. There was a report from John Krasinski that he was clashing with Rudy Gobert. Not only didn't want to throw him lobs, he was just telling his teammates that he hated Rudy Gobert, which is such a hard take for a guy who's like a legitimate all-star. And someone who's not a legitimate all-star. But they only sent out D'Angelo Russell and they brought in Mike Conley and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Noor, who is actually having an alright season, just as a large body who can play the wing. I don't think he's going to be anything more than a bench player, but a good player. And Mike Conley, who is a better fit, steadier hand, but 10 years older? Better defender.
Under contract for an extra year.
It's still averaging like 9 points a game and 7 assists, but
they don't need the buckets.
Anthony Edwards needs the ball in his hands more. Karl Anthony Towns is going to come back and need the ball in his hands more. I would much rather just this dude who just says, I don't mind if I score single-digit points.
Yeah.
And a better fit. But what do you guys think about Minnesota? Do you feel better here?
They've never, ever, ever had a stable veteran. Kevin Garnett, I would argue, is one of the most unstable veterans. I reckon he'd be the worst vet to play with.
No, I didn't think of that.
No, for sure. But like, when he comes over at 38 years old, and he's like, I'm going to teach these young guys how to play.
And he just screams at Cat.
Yeah, and he's just like yelling slurs and like beating people up. And it's like, you know what? I actually don't like you at all. Yeah. Mike Conley's the absolute opposite of that.
There's a few steps before that, KG.
Yeah.
I think. So when it happened, I was like, "What are the Wolves doing?" Then all that stuff came out about like D'Angelo Russell. You can just call it bullying Rudy Gobert. And as the last few days have developed, I like this move for the Wolves from just like a personnel. I hate using the word culture, but culture thing.
Have they played a game yet with Conley?
I don't.
Or is that tomorrow?
No, I don't think so.
But just like, hey, that shit won't run here.
Yeah.
And the value for them is the addition by subtraction thing for them.
Yeah.
But then also, alright, man, these issues seem to keep following Gobert, and it's like, you're probably part of the problem as well.
Yeah, no, that's true. And like we said off air when we were watching the game, it's like, it's crazy that D'Angelo Russell had the gall to do this. And it was so much better when Mitchell did it because he played with him for 4 or 5 years, and then he goes, "Oh, actually, no, I dislike that person, but I'll get over it." They won 60 games for all those years, but then it's like, okay, I don't want to be with this guy. But it is looking a little bit like a Gobert problem.
Yeah. Drats! I forgot what I was going to say. It's always good on a freaking basketball.
Dang nabbit, huh?
Yeah.
Well, we are doing this raw, like bite the pillow. We have no notes.
Well, on the Gobert thing, you can do like a where there's smoke, there's fire. For a wood-fired packet.
Very nice. But it goes beyond that for the D'Angelo Russell thing. He wasn't just like trashing him out to teammates. He was like yelling about, like complaining about him when they were on the court. He'd like complain to his opposition about how bad his team was and shit. He'd complain to reporters. He'd like tell. It was just like to anyone and everyone that wasn't Gobert, he was like complaining about him. And it's like,
what the fuck?
That's not how you conduct yourself. D'Angelo. And then you're obviously also part of that problem. So yeah, I think good move from the Wolves on like a culture standpoint.
And then like LeBron loves taking these guys in that are just like absolute cookers.
Yeah.
And he loves taking them in, and then when there are character issues, he's like, I don't know what's going wrong. Yeah. It's like, bro, do you need me to spell it out?
Yeah, it's like you've got Russell, you've got Dennis Schroeder, and I know I said that Russell's a better fit than Russell Westbrook. But like, you've just got these dudes who care more about their own shot. Rui Hachimura, it's like, cool, Rui in 2K, You can make as many mid ranges as you want, even a couple of fades. But fuck, like you, it's not a good fit. Like if Rui wants to dribble 5 times before taking his shot, that's not a good offense when you've got LeBron and AD on the court at the same time. Let's talk about the other LA team, the Los Angeles Clippers, who I won't say any of their seconds that went in and out because for a title
You said second.
for a title contender it doesn't matter. But they lost Reggie Jackson, Luke Kennard, and John Wall, and they brought in Eric Gordon, Bones Highland, and Mason Plumlee. That's a good upgrade. Do you not think that's an upgrade?
I don't know.
Well, you don't know.
I don't know.
Bones Highland, I picked him for 6th man of the year, and he's not going to win it, right? But in terms of fit next to Kawhi Leonard, like they were trying to put their name into like a Kyle Lowry or a Russell Westbrook. Like Kawhi Leonard, if he is going to be an MVP level player, which if he's not, you're just not going to win the title. That's it. But best case scenario, if Kawhi Leonard is fully healthy and you want to win a title, he needs a point guard that is happy, like Terrence Mann, just happy not touching it. He doesn't need to dribble, but he'll shoot the fuck out of it when you give it to him. And Bones Highland will just shoot the ball when you give it to him. Might be a one dribble shot, but he just wants to be behind the 3-point line taking shots.
Yeah.
And so that works in the theory of the best case scenario with Kawhi Leonard. So I love that aspect of it.
Doesn't Reggie Jackson do that?
No, he dribbles a bit. He loves to dribble. He loves to dribble more than Bones Highland. Eric Gordon, if you like Norman Powell, here's another one but older. Another round-faced disease shooting guard.
So like Norman Powell didn't work, and he's worked for like a couple of games here and there, but he's not exactly there. Like he really should be their number 3 points per game, consistently. Like Eric Gordon's just like old Norman Powell, which I kind of like if you're gonna play him more, but how deep is too deep, and how many players can you possibly have that all need to play? That all need to be on the floor. Right?
Yeah, so maybe it's like Team USA, and they're all taking less shots for the greater of the team. But this is so many guys that are now doing this, like Nick Batum, Robert Covington, Ivica Zubac, Mason Plumlee, a good pickup as a backup center.
Always a good deal.
But like, there's just all these dudes who, like, you put them on the Hornets, they're going to average a lot more than they are on the Clippers, and this is it. Like, you better fucking win a title now.
I trust Ty Lue to be like, Mason Plumlee, you do one fucking around the back dribble. For the rest of the season, out, completely out.
I'll tear your Achilles.
You go the Lakeland Magic. I'm really excited to see. I'm not really excited, but I'm interested to see how Eric Gordon's going to look back in Los Angeles with the Clippers. And also, like, he hasn't had to really be in, like, what he does on the basketball court hasn't really mattered for like 3 years now. So I wonder if he still has it, because he was very reliable on those Houston teams.
Oh god, yeah.
But maybe the depth thing is like, okay, Bones is actually kind of fucking us this playoff series. Normally P has missed his last 6 shots. Eric Gordon at least will not be offensive, and like he understands he understands the moments and fuck. I hate that I said that, but he understands like the value of each possession, etc., etc. So I like that for them, and then I also think that Mason Plumlee is like a late career Zubac.
He's just a poor man. No, just a poor man Zubac. I think Mason Plumlee's coming off the bench because Zubac is such just a perfect role player fit. Getting paid $9 million a year. He's so good for his role. Like he's
absolutely.
But he's just keeps getting better.
He
keeps getting better and better at it.
But he doesn't do anything wrong. Everything he does is always correct. Which is really hard to find in the NBA.
Yeah. Do you think this makes the Clippers closer to a title?
Yeah, but not much.
Right.
Yeah, but I still don't think they're winning it.
No.
If it just all these moves, like they're spending so much money, they've given up all their seconds now. I've said it again, but they're giving up everything they can just to put the best people around Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. But if we go into another playoffs where they get injured or they're just not able to do it, it's like, well, fuck. It's shifting deck chairs on the Titanic because those two dudes might not just be the guys. You've got Robert Covington and Nick Batum and just all these sick role players. It's just not. It's just the two guys' fault.
And if we're not assuming health for Phoenix, we can't assume health for the Clippers.
I feel like it's way more so.
This is way worse.
It was kind of depressing looking at Bill Simmons wrote his top 100 players in the league, or like the trade value column. And I remember like 2019, Kawhi Leonard was on top of the world, won a title. He was like a gun for hire who's going to win a title. Then signed with the Clippers, and now they had him ranked as like the 22nd best player in the league. And it's like, damn. You're not going to win a title with the 22nd best player in the league.
He played 22 games since then.
You know, it's a bit of a bummer.
But my God, when he's healthy, holy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
holy
when
shit.
he's healthy, he's one of the 3 best players on the planet.
Oh yeah.
And he's going back and forth with Giannis.
I watched him in Boston last month, and he's like, I dropped that one in there. He's automatic.
Yeah.
Like if you think he looks robotic, like on TV, and it's like, how does that go in? When you watch it in person, it's even more like mind blowing. How everything is just so like rigid and just absolutely perfect. Everything's perfect. It's unreal.
I also think he doesn't know who Bones Highland is. I don't think he pays attention to the league.
He's never watched a Nuggets game. That's why they keep losing series, playoff series.
He thinks Zubac is just Jokic is just like Zubac.
Yeah.
I got a question for you, Alex. As
Yeah.
someone who's freshly been to an NBA game, because I actually was at the Eastern Conference Finals in 2011. However,
Snap.
I don't recall this, and I was also like
A little boy.
14 at the time.
Yeah.
13 even. But I got 2 questions. First of all, how much space is there, like between a player's contest and a player's shot, and how quick is everything?
It's there's not a lot of space and it's really fast.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Because
Although, like, God, they're good at spacing the floor. Like when I play basketball, and like, let's put this out here, listener. I'm not an NBA basketball. I feel like when I'm standing in the middle of the key, I have no room to maneuver.
Yeah.
And I'm 6 foot tall, quite wide. Like, I just don't have space in general. I don't know how these guys at 6'11" can can like shovel passes to each other between 7 foot wingspans. Like, they're just like, they're so much better at basketball than you will ever be. And then watching them in person's like, oh right, this is why we pay you to do this.
I was talking to my mate Harry last night, who had a semi-professional basketball career, and he's like just fucked unbelievable good. Like if he wants to, we'll play. Like if we're ever playing ones and I like hit a shot, that's the worst thing I can do because he'll just like 11 zip from that point on. And he was like, I think the best I could have done was be the 12th guy on an NBL team, and I was like, fuck. Really? Because I was like, surely you'd be able to get into the rotation. He was like, nah. Like they're all so dedicated and so good, and like we're not fucking moving mountains and breaking news here.
Yeah.
But so just, we're on a podcast.
Which is why I always find it so interesting that a guy like John Wall can go away for 3 years and come back without a jump shot.
Yeah.
Like, mate, all right. So you know and I think that has to be the people around him as much as it is himself, right? Because if you go away for that long and you're like, okay, you're not going to be a starter, let's start there, right?
Yeah.
The only way you're going to be useful is if you can semi-defend, drive, and then hit an open 3 to then unlock your driving because you're not that fast anymore.
Yeah.
Right? So what we need from you is to stand in the corner and shoot 300 shots a day until you're a 37% shooter just from the corner.
Yeah.
Right? He comes back and he's complaining about Houston and he's complaining about whatever he's complaining, and I used to do this, and I want to sign somewhere that's going to play me, and I want to go to the playoffs, and blah, blah, blah. And then the Clippers, who's like the absolute perfect situation for a point guard, there's 30 minutes waiting for you there if you're good.
Yeah, it was his to take.
But he comes back with like no skill.
Yeah.
No, improvement where he was supposed to improve.
Yeah.
And now he's going to be out of the league again. And it's just like, you're the...
Must sign with Phoenix.
Because they need depth. You were the best point guard in the world for like a year there, and then now all you had to do was learn how to shoot because you've learned everything else, and because you didn't want to do it, you're done. So like it's so interesting that like when you're at the top, there's all these guys at the top that like just refuse to do this little thing that will elongate their career and really like make. If John Wall went to the Clippers and learned how to shoot threes and they won a championship, it'd be like John Wall won the Clippers a championship.
Yeah.
But instead, he got traded back to Houston because they were like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I've got, I think, 11 things here. And I'm just gonna say a name and a team, and we're just gonna go around. We're gonna rapid fire this. We can all just say 1 or 2 sentences about the move. No one else is allowed to butt in. Start with Lucas. We'll go Clocky. Atlanta Hawks, Sadiq Bey.
No.
What? You have to say. What are your thoughts? Or you just want to say no?
No to the Hawks.
Okay, cool.
Not sure why Detroit gave him up.
Boston Celtics, Mike Muscala.
I love it.
Good.
Do you reckon he's a good backup?
I think he's a totally fine backup that can stretch the floor.
I think. Oh, sorry. Go on.
Nah, play. All right. If we all want to say it,
I think
we can say it.
this guy's better than the Quantic contest twice a game.
Yeah. Oh.
He's shooting 40%
We'll find out.
from three.
Yeah.
He's
okay.
a great shooter, and he's tall.
Yeah.
All right, I got Milwaukee Bucks, Jay Crowder. They replaced PJ Tucker for a guy who can't shoot as well, but will shoot as much as we want PJ Tucker to shoot.
Yeah.
Hasn't played for 9 months. Last time he played, he was shit.
Last time he
mind.
played, he was 0-9 from 3 in a playoff game.
Don't mind it.
Yeah, it's
Don't mind
seconds.
It's a
like,
swing.
It's seconds.
You
Yeah.
just swing it.
Bit of a bastard.
Josh Hart, New York.
Like it. Really like it. Feels a need.
Feels a character need too.
Oh yeah.
Feels a character need big time.
Villanova
Especially
guys.
and like
High floor.
Brunson's your best player, despite the fact that for whatever reason Randall made the All-Star team and not Brunson, but you know whatever. That's a guard forward thing. Maybe position us, please. Former college teammates, keep your best player happy.
Philadelphia, Jalen McDaniels.
No comment.
Yeah.
No
And
comment.
a PJ Tucker replacement.
Isn't Jaden the good one?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the Charlotte one. I got Toronto Jakob Poeltl. Just complete opposite direction that we thought they were going to go with it.
Yeah.
And they do need a centre, but they also need new talent, especially
They need a
because...
wing.
Head scratcher?
Yeah.
It's like, alright, so you're going to pay him now, right? Cool. But, like, you could have just paid him anyway and not given up the big...
Well, not even that. You're going to pay him, and what if your players suck again next year? And Fred VanVleet airballs threes continually.
Is this for a play-in push? Like, what?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I just don't.
You went from sellers to buyers, but like you brought in like
But you bought and then said, "Oh, we're still selling if anyone's got an offer."
yeah. But like Jake Puddle is like good for the Celtics or the Warriors or you know a better basketball.
Yeah.
team. Like the Raptors, yeah. What for?
You went from sales to buyers, but you bought at the reject shop.
Yeah.
That dick.
Yeah.
Nah, he's good, actually.
Denver Nuggets getting Thomas Bryant.
Well, since we had him at the Wizards for so long, super efficient offensive player, but just needs to stay healthy to get his because he was like a rhythm player defensively. So if you can get 40 games over the next 40 games, which is including like the first playoff series, if you can play 35 of them, then you're like, okay, we only need to watch this D for 8 minutes a night, and he'll make 6 good plays. 4 pretty bad ones.
Yeah, in the playoffs, he's going to catch the ball twice, and it's going to be a 3 or a dunk, and then Jokic is going to come right back in, and there's 5 points that wouldn't be there with DJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, just better than DeAndre Jordan. It literally has to be that simple.
Until this one gets nixed, Golden State, Gary Payton 2. Fucking sucks so much that it might get nixed.
Well, I think so you could have traded Wiseman for supposed value last year.
Well, the move was for Sadiq Bey, and then we flipped him again for those 5 seconds from Atlanta, and then traded those 5 seconds, as that word again, for Gary Payton.
Yeah, I don't know. You had value for Wiseman last year in a trade. You knew he was going to be shit. You kept him because you were like, maybe he's not going to be shit. Then he turned out to be shit.
Yeah, what's with that?
And, I don't know.
And at the moment, all these reports coming out that, maybe bloody blah, injuries playing through. Can you say your point? I want this on air. Can you say your point about what the Warriors might be doing here?
Yeah, so I think that, we see it with tampering all the time. It's like you see a couple of reports come up, yada, yada, yada. Oh, cool, we get our top 55 protected second round pick from it. I've never seen this much reporting for a dirty trade happen ever. So I'm thinking this is just a great play by the Warriors to get the best ever compensation for misreporting, etc., making a player play through injury on Gary Payton 2's side. So maybe they get a first as well, the Warriors, from the Blazers.
Yeah, it's interesting. I got Memphis, Luke Kennard, just another rotation player in the room. New Orleans Pelicans picking up Josh Richardson.
I reckon Josh Richardson's a fucking just cool guy. I think that.
Ask less. He went to the same chicken shop as him.
Also, was nice at the chicken shop. Not as nice as Carlton Johnson though.
He once posted an Instagram story of him looking at a sandwich cross-eyed and wrote hot sandwich, and I screenshotted it and had it for my background because my hoodie for my year 12 was hot sandwich. So we're pretty much connected.
Yeah, right.
Bound.
Unless Portland picking up Matisse Thybulle and Cam Reddish.
Both plays bad basketball. And Portland makes wings bad. So, no.
Well, welcome.
Thumbs down.
Yeah, awesome emergency pod. Any final comments before you wrap up?
On the Blazers, the no rebuild.
Yeah.
Just what? How many?
So stupid.
Shaden Sharp and Cam Reddish for the future.
How many steps back are you guys gonna take? And like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Damian Lillard. I think the stupidest person in this whole situation is Dame.
Yeah.
Because he asked for a trade. I firmly believe he asked for a trade.
Yeah.
Then when the reporting started being like, oh, Dame was never going to leave, but now he's leaving. And, everyone in Portland was like, that's fine, you've done enough for us. We don't deserve it. And then someone said something like, oh, I thought Dame was going to stay here forever. And Dame was like, I am going to stay here forever. It's being misreported, blah, blah, blah. I am staying. They're going to rebuild around me. So the Trailblazers are now like, okay, we'll rebuild around you, I guess. They have no assets to rebuild around you with. Their players are old and injured, or Anthony Simons.
Well, there was a report that said Anthony Simons is off the table because they need him for the second window of Portland. It's like, so they are just rebuilding and saying, damn, don't worry, Nurkic is still there.
It's so bad.
It's really bad.
They're so bad, but I think it's Lillard's fault. So he's done it to himself.
Yeah.
He should have just left, taken the 120 million, and commanded the trade anyway. Final comment. The Kings, right now, as we're watching into this game, are having Pride Night with Kyrie Irving in town. And we know he fucking hates that. That's so good.
Hella.
I got a question about the your Denver Nuggets there, Sean. If Nikola Jokic were to leave Denver, how would it be received?
Well, I don't think he is because he said.
I understand.
But if he did,
yeah, would it be like you've done your service here? You've done
yeah,
thank you for everything.
it'd be like the Tribe Called Quest album, but it might be a little bit weird because he said I want to be Denver's Tim Duncan. But if you are you asking in a Damian Lillard sense?
Everyone says that.
Yeah, but I think in a Damian Lillard sense, he'll be like, oh, holy fuck, he was so good, can't believe it. No, there'll be no bad blood, because it's not like he'll sign with New York. Like, he's not the sort of dude to do that. Yeah. It will be to team up with some random Eastern European.
Dallas.
Yeah, it'll be for that. But also, Tim McMahon, about 2 months ago, said that if Luka does leave, the most likely team is Denver.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Northwest of America seems to really have an appreciative relationship with their basketball players.
Yeah.
Lillard, Jokic, Brandon Stewart. All the Storm fans are like, yeah, go.
Yeah.
I won 2 rings.
Yeah. You've done enough.
Yeah.
You've done enough. Go enjoy yourself, please. There's nothing up here. Go to New York.
Boys, I'll speak to you next time. That's funny.